innermost essence of my heroine could be called me. The rest is all made up, and indeed her age is nowhere near mine. And in writing about her, I had to sort of rethink what her past would have been. On the other hand, in my own defense, not that you're attacking me, I would say that all of my novels have been somewhat unautobiographical. In every case, there was something that kind of stretched me, and in a way, there was as well as the facts and things I had seen and cities I had visited. There was always something which was not true of me. I was never a basketball star like Harry Angstrom, and I was never a black dictator like Elidou in The Coup. So always, I think, for a novel, there has to be something out of the autobiographical to excite the author, and one hopes to excite then the reader.
My guest is writer John Updike. His new novel is titled Ends. You know, most of your novels have been about people from the middle class, but I think there's something in your life that you've never done in a way that's always a part of the middle class, and that is reporting to work, reporting for a job. You worked at The New Yorker for a couple of years, back in the mid-'50s, but you've been a writer all your life and have been able to make a living from it, which meant that you never had to go to work out at a job, out at an office or a plant or something like that.
No, exactly so, and I think it is an area of American experience which most people have, and which I have, by my own early and lucky success, have somewhat skipped. And I'm sorry, in a way. I'm sorry I did not, unlike Joseph Conrad, ship out and be a Marine captain for many years, because it gave him, when he did, Conrad sit down to write, it gave him a lot of things to write about. He never was in danger of running out of material. I did have a number of jobs as a teenager, and I did watch my father go off to work every day, and I've lived among commuters so much of my life, so I don't feel entirely locked out. But you're right, I began to write quite early and to get published early, and to some extent it's made me an oddball and a bit to one side of the mainstream American experience.
Have you ever had the desire to go try out a very unusual experience that would take you far away from your life so that you could see
belief in the actual
that I get out of writing is when I feel I've gotten something down accurately. And the main bliss, whether I read Henry Green or Nabokov or Proust or Tolstoy, is the sense that they've described precisely a certain moment of experience, whether it's a dress or a chair or how a person's face
I wonder,
looks.
so I think it has to do with the
literary art is a parasitic one, and that its energy comes from the energy
and
of
it
the
relates
real.
to the box.
And so accuracy is one way describing the close approximation to the real that we all sort of live for. There's other kinds of accuracy, of course. There is the larger attempt to, in the shape of your novels, to give something of the texture and the ambiguity of life itself. which makes perhaps for novels that don't end as conclusively and as satisfyingly as 19th century novels did. But I think it's our fate as 20th century people to live with ambiguity, and so I've tried to make my books in some sense reflect the ambiguity that exists.
Do you think that great novels have more to do with perfect pitch than they do with great stories or great themes?
I think the storytelling instinct has to be part of a writer's equipment, and that in the end, the novels that we treasure as classics are those which tell a pretty solid story. And The Scarlet Letter and Moby Dick and Huckleberry Finn, to name three American classics, all have a strong storyline that you can retain in your mind. So I would say that this is one of I feel that less lately than formerly. I did feel as though a number of critics had appointed themselves when they sat down with a new book of mine to rectify what they felt to be was my inflated reputation. And so that the book in hand was not really given a chance, but made a kind of weapon in the general attempt to bring me down to size. I've tried to avoid doing that to other other writers. And I must say, and maybe I should knock on wood, is that the last couple books of mine have been reviewed in, I think, a basically fair and attentive way. And all a writer can ask really is that the reviewer read the book and say what he thinks about it, instead of trying to
collected and like been really sentimental. So it's like, where do I put all of these tiny things? And then that seems like the way to do it, like, is to have it so they all have their own space. And then I guess there's also this kind of like compulsion, like organization thing involved in that. But it's not so much like organized like labels and color coding, but it's like organized in a way that makes sense like only to me. And I feel like that's how I want the paintings to feel too. Like I really want, like there's this kind of like